Yeah, well, this is not the start we envisioned. I think, we made some good moves this summer to strengthen the team. I think we fixed some of the issues, with players, personnel that we may have had in the past. We've got 11 new players on the team now, from last year. But there's some issues now that we're working through to try to figure out to get to where we need to get to win hockey games.
Is one of those issues the penalty kill?
Yes. So our special teams, I think 5-on-5, we've really improved, our chances against in our 5-on-5 play. But, right now our special teams are hurting us. They're, our power play, we have the personnel, I believe, to have a real good power play. And, for whatever reason, we're not performing on the power play. And then our penalty kill is, it's really hurt us this year, as was that evidence in the game last night. They scored 3 power play goals, and that's the difference in the game.
How worried are you about Elias Pettersson's game, and why do you think it's been such a struggle for him?
Well, part of our problem, I think, is, a lot of our good players aren't playing to their potential. And, we all know the type of player that he can be. And, whether it's the long layoff, he didn't play, 4 months of last year, and then through the summer, getting back to, playing competitively again. And, so we know he's capable of a lot more than he's shown so far. But it's our jobs as a management team, as a coaching staff, to to keep working with him to get him to where he needs to be, because he's a big part of our team.
How patient can you be here, Jim? A lot of changes already. Making changes would obviously be more. So how patient are you with this group to work with?
Well, this is wearing on all of us, from ownership through the management team, through the coaching staff and the players. I believe in this group of players. I believe that, and we've shown glimpses. We're a fragile team right now, whether it's, we take a penalty and we can't kill it off, or, a bounce doesn't go our way. We hit crossbars and posts. So I think, like in the game last night, for a good portion of that game, I was happy with our game. I thought we played really good. But then, the start of the third period there, we, take a couple penalties. They score on it, but we need to be smarter too. We need to play smart and not take those penalties. And it's going to take hard work. It's going to be, from our group, a commitment, from everybody to keep working hard, competing hard on the puck, and doing the things that we need to do to win games.
But do you feel you have to stick with these guys and that making?
Well, what we're doing is we're looking at everything right now. I've been working with the coaches work with the players. We've been talking to agents about their players to, just see where they're at and what they're thinking and how we can help. I've looked to the outside, talking to other general managers from other teams to see what's available. If something makes sense, we'll look to do that. So we're looking at everything.
Jim, you were pretty candid through the offseason, even the eve of the season, about this being a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
You know the math and how it works, and you've had teams here that have had to try to play catch up, and it's not easy.
Right.
I mean, how confident do you feel in that proclamation that you guys can get back to where you need to be?
Well, we're going to have to regain our confidence as a group and as a team. We're going to have to, do a better job, obviously, on the PK. We need to figure that part of our game out. And I believe, some of our players need to regain their confidence to play to their potential. And if we can figure those things out, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but I think if we can figure those things out, we're going to have to string a group of wins together now to get back in it. And like I said, I still believe in this group of players, and we're going to keep working hard to, find solutions to our problems, and, you know, we still want to be a playoff team.
Travis has sat there on a number of nights and lamented the fact that this team can't win a face-off, and that's been part of the problem on the penalty kill. Are you prepared to run with 4 left-handed centers where it looks like your opponents are picking you guys apart when they're on the power play?
Yeah, well, you know, when we do our strategic planning in the summertime, you know, our PK, the guys that, you know, we had penciled in that were going to be penalty killers were, you know, obviously Brandon Sutter and Tyler Mott, and then, you know, Jason Dickinson, who we traded for, and Highmore. And, you know, like, not having Brandon Sutter and Tyler Mott to start the year, it's a big loss for us because they're good penalty killers. You know, we traded Jay Beagle this summer, and he did an excellent job for us in that area. And so, you know, but we've had to, you know, that we need to make adjustments. We traded for Lamico, and, you know, but it's just not the players. We got to, you know, it's the strategy involved in how we're going to kill penalties, and I think the coaches are working with the players on that so we can do a better job.
Do you have an update on Brandon Sutter?
Well, he's feeling better. You know, as you guys know, he's what they call a COVID long hauler, and I talked to him last week. He's feeling better and better all the time. He's nowhere near close, you know, working out or getting back on the ice. But, you know, we're hoping here that at some point he can start working out and start skating again and be with the group.
Jim, when you said there was personnel issues you needed to address, what were those? You said you brought in 11 new guys. And
Yeah.
things you needed
Well,
to
we
do.
wanted to have more depth in our scoring group, right? So we wanted to try to, you know, build a group where we had three lines that can contribute to the scoring. You know, a little bit more offensive depth. You know, bringing in on the back end, you know, I think, you know, bringing in OEL and Pullman, I feel like, you know, those were guys that could, you know, work with some of the players we had to make them better, and I think they've shown that. So, you know, those are the issues that I was talking about.
Before the season, I think quite rightly, you took the position that your team would be fully vaccinated.
Right.
Travis Hamonic became an exception to that. What changed to have that happen?
So as I came in to talk to you guys, I talked to Travis before I walked in to talk to you guys, and he was on his way to get vaccinated. So he was just on his way to go get the vaccination. He went over to the pharmacy, and he, you know, had, you know, some second thoughts, I guess. And then he went through some other struggles that, you know, issues that he was dealing with. He took a leave of absence from the team to deal with those issues. And then he got the one vaccine. And so now he's got both vaccines. And it's like he got the second one a couple days ago. So it'll be a couple weeks yet. And then he's classified where he can go across the border.
We hear a lot from Travis. We've heard from you from time to time. Why don't we ever hear from Francesco?
Well, you know, and I don't know how it gets out here, but I had a meeting with ownership the other day, and you know, when I meet with the ownership, it's kind of a state of the union as to where the team's at. Obviously, ownership's not happy, you know, with the start we've had, and we've talked about, you know, the issues that we're having as a team and as a group, and I tried to give them solutions to our problems, how we're going to figure this out and how we're going to get better and how we need to be. So, you know, that's kind of, you know, the way things work around here. So, you know, I'm kind of the spokesman for him in that regard.
When you say, Jim, that you guys are looking at everything, does that include the coaching staff? Are you reviewing Travis, or is his job safe as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, like we're looking at everything. We're trying to find solutions to our problems, and you know, Travis and his staff are working hard. This is wearing on them, like it's wearing on all of us. this is, something that I didn't expect to kind of happen after, the moves we made this summer. But it's happening, and we have to deal with it, and we got to, find answers and get things back on track.
And you've been in the market long enough to know that there's always going to be dissent. That dissent took the form of a few of your fans last night chanting your job. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's upsetting. It's really upsetting because, I think as a management team, this last, 7+ years, we've worked really hard to, draft well, develop our players properly. I think it's wearing on all of us. There's not one faction from ownership to the management team to the coaches that it's wearing on us now. The fans are frustrated. I get their frustration. We're frustrated. But we need to figure this out and get back on track and start winning hockey games and play like I believe we're capable of.
Does it ever get to the point where it makes the job so unenjoyable you question why you're doing it or whether you should do it?
I always look at things, my whole career is based on, trying to figure things out to build, to help build teams that are competitive, that are successful, try to, like I brought it up, figure out solutions to our problems, how we can get to where we need to be, so we're winning hockey games, we're having fun, and that's not going to change for me.
Jim, I'll ask you the same thing I asked Travis a week ago. I mean, you've made some significant moves this offseason, but there's still some holes on this roster. There's a lot of blame to go around for why the team is where it is. How responsible do you feel for where this team is at right now?
Well, of course I feel responsible. I'm the leader of this group. And, like I said, the moves we made this summer, I would have never envisioned we got off to this start. But we have. Now we have to deal with it, and we got to figure it out. It's hard. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not hard. It's really hard. But, like what's going on in BC right now with the people out in Abbotsford and the floods that they're dealing with, that's not easy either. So this is what we call life.
Ian mentioned, you asked if Travis's job is safe. Do you feel your job is safe?
Well, I'm not going to worry about that. There's, that will be an ownership decision. And if, they get to a point where, they don't feel like, I'm doing a good job or I need to be replaced, they'll make that decision.
Do you feel 8 years is enough time to have executed a rebuild and got a team to where you want to be?
Yeah, I believe so. And like I told you, I like this group. Like I like this group of players. And I think, along the way, what we tried to do is make sure that with, our younger players, we surrounded them with veteran players so they could learn from them, glue guys that could teach them. Because, but now we've kind of handed it over to the, that younger group of players that we've drafted and developed. And, with that responsibility comes a lot of pressure. And, now we got to, work with these guys to, get them to play to their potential. And so, they can perform at the level that they need to perform at so we can start winning.
You mentioned players getting their confidence back. How concerned are you with Petey?
Well, I think, it's concerning, but we all know the type of player that he's capable of. And, he's coming off, a tough injury. He hasn't played for a long time. I believe, if he keeps working hard and competing hard on the puck and, he's going to have to get his confidence back. But I believe that, he's going to still be the real good player that we all thought and seen that he was the last 3 years.
Jim, you played in the league. I'm sure, experienced a lot of locker room dynamics. I don't know how much day-to-day you're in the room, but do you get a sense that everybody's on the same page in there?
Yeah, I do. I think, like you said, I'm not with them in practices and in the locker room, but I think we have a good group of guys. We have a group of guys that I think get along well together. They've shown in the past that, they're willing to work hard for one another. And so I believe we can, get back to that too here with this group.
Do you think at all, it seems like everything's on the table right now with this group and where it is. It's 15 months ago, you guys experienced some success in the bubble, and your best players were your best players. What do you recall from that, and what guys did well there that isn't happening now? And maybe did this organization overvalue that? It was such a unique experience in the bubble for the first time. Did you put too much stock in what you guys accomplished there?
Well, I don't know the answer to that question. I do know that, from in that Minnesota series, I thought Brock Besser was one of our best players in that series. That St. Louis series, I thought, Quinn Hughes was really good in that series. And then when we played Vegas, I thought Petey and Demko were real good. So, they got a taste of, what it was like to play in that style of hockey, and they performed at that level. And so I believe that they have it in them to, to perform at that level now in the regular season and in the playoffs again at some point.
A guy involved in that series was Manny Malhotra. Mm-hmm. In hindsight, has his departure been bigger than perhaps you realized?
Well, Manny was more the eye in the sky for us at the time. I think bringing in Brad Shaw, I think, has been real positive for our group. Like I said, our 5-on-5 play is, we're not giving up the chances that, the high danger chances that we did last year. Manny's real good at what he does. So, I'm sure, there's certain aspects of what he did that we miss, but, I'm confident in our assistant coaches that, they're making up for the difference in what Manny provided for us.
Jim, you mentioned the performance of your young core in the 2020 bubble. You also mentioned that the club had made an effort to turn over the reins to them in terms of leading this club. Considering how things have gone, did you mistime their readiness, or were you too confident in how ready they were to lead a winning team in this league?
Well, like I said earlier, I believe in this group. I believe that, we still have enough veteran leaders around to show them, the way and take some pressure off of them. But, we need more players, I believe, playing to their potential. And once, as a management team and as a coaching staff, I believe that, whether it's through, working harder, winning more puck battles, going to the net harder, getting rebound goals, tipping goals, those are all things that, we need to do better to win hockey games. So, I still believe that we have a good veteran leadership group, and they're still, a big part of our team.
With the pandemic and the unique challenges that it presented for your organization, particularly coming out of the bubble and some of the budget restrictions, and then sort of returning to normal and the quick shift in direction twice, in retrospect, did that impede some of the progress you feel you made in 1920?
Well, I'm not going to go back, and digest, all that. We have issues now we're trying to deal with and figure out, and I'm thinking more along those lines, finding solutions to our problems so we can get back in the winning column.
Regarding the leaked meeting with ownership this week, is there any color you're able to provide for how that meeting went and whether or not it changed your mandate as the head of hockey operations? No,
we have these meetings with ownership periodically, and it's like a State of the Union. Okay, we didn't get off to a good start. They're not happy. What are we doing to figure things out? How are we going to get this thing changed around? And it happens in every organization. in all the other teams I've worked for, that's what happens, and, you know, that's what happened in this meeting.
With regards to 8 months ago, your club launched an internal investigation through an independent law firm into the allegations that were made against Jake Virtanen. You gave us an update on that in July. You gave us an update again in September. 8 months on, has that investigation concluded, understanding that you probably can't comment at length about a pending legal matter?
Yeah, it's a ongoing police investigation, and so I'm not going to have any comment on that till, you know, we find out more from the police.
Are you able to share whether or not the investigation is complete? Is it a closed matter from the organization's perspective?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Jim, what's the organization's overall message to fans right now?
Well, I know, you know, fans are frustrated. We're frustrated. It's wearing on all of us. We're going to do everything that we can to, you know, get this back in the right direction, winning hockey games, and, you know, hopefully compete for a playoff spot.
Last year, you said you felt you were 2 years away from being really competitive. Do you feel now it's 1 year away, or has that timeline changed?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that right now with where we're at. We got to just figure out, you know, how our penalty kill can be better, how our best players can perform better, how, you know, we're a fragile team right now, how we can work through that, be mentally tougher. Those are the issues that we're dealing with right now.